Welcome back. Among those mourning the loss of former U.S. Senator Tim Johnson is a man who served with him in Washington. Former Majority Leader Tom Daschle will speak at today's funeral. KELOLAND's Dan Santella caught up with Daschle in the days following the death of his longtime colleague and friend.
Tim Johnson and Tom Daschle were South Dakota Democrats who served in both the Senate and House in Washington, but their similarities don't end there. Each celebrated a birthday in December. In 2024, Daschle will turn 77 and Johnson would have turned 78. What's more, they each graduated from a South Dakota university in 1969, Johnson from USD and Daschle from SDSU.
How should we as South Dakotans and as Americans remember Tim Johnson?
Well, I think South Dakotans should remember Tim Johnson as just an extraordinary human being who cared deeply about the people of South Dakota.
Johnson and Daschle represented South Dakota together in the U.S. Senate from 1997 to 2005.
Couldn't have had a better partner. I know in a lot of states there are senators and congressmen that kind of compete with one another. Tim and I never competed. We always partnered.
During their time together in the Senate, Daschle served as both majority and minority leader. In the Senate, he and Johnson helped lead the country through momentous events, the impeachment of President Bill Clinton, the 9/11 attacks, and the invasions of both Afghanistan and Iraq. Daschle believes Johnson's friendship, camaraderie, and commitment made him, quote, a better senator.
He really continued to emphasize the importance of having an independent mind, not necessarily being swayed by a political party or a particular interest group.
For Daschle, Johnson was much more than a colleague.
Very personal friend. We've known each other for over 40 years. Life has no blessing like that of a good friend, and I was deeply blessed by Tim and Barb's friendship over these many decades.
Dan Santella, KELOLAND News.
In addition to Daschle, former U.S. Congresswoman Stephanie Herseth Sandlin will also be speaking during today's service. And we also expect to hear from Johnson's sons, Brooks and Brendan.
Johnson served 5 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives and 3 as a senator. During that time, he gained the respect of Democrats and Republicans alike. KELOLAND's Lauren Solik talked with a former rival.
Today, former Senator Larry Pressler is looking back at his time on Capitol Hill with Tim Johnson and the work they did together despite being in different political parties.
Worked on agriculture with me, and we worked together on vocational education legislation to create the centers in Watertown and elsewhere. We had a lot of legislation together, and I salute him for that. He was bipartisan. He worked across the party lines, and I really admire him.
Pressler says that admiration continued on through the years, even when they were opponents in 1996.
So Tim Johnson and I ran against each other. We were friends. I don't know if many people know that or not, but I considered him a friend. It was never a race where there was a harsh word said on either side. I think we both had some issues in mind, and it was an issues-oriented campaign.
Pressler wasn't the only prominent name that Johnson held a victory over. In his 2002 re-election run, Johnson beat then-Congressman John Thune.
He was the heavyweight champion of politics in South Dakota in terms of victories. He beat all of us.
Pressler says Johnson leaves a legacy of being a great South Dakotan.
He's the sort of person who makes South Dakota and the world go around on a good keel. He's a splendid man. I consider Tim Johnson my friend, and I'm sorry that he's gone. And I hope I and all of us can live up to his standard.
And Senator Tim Johnson's funeral will begin in just under 15 minutes now.
Yeah, let's take a live look inside our Savior's Lutheran Church now. As you can see, there are some empty rows up front for the family, but people, many dignitaries are still filing in.
Yeah, we will see more of them as the broadcast goes on. Johnson cared deeply about his state and his family.
As we put together this special report, we came across a clip from 1986 of the newly elected congressman then that also gives us a taste of his sense of humor. Take a look.
Brendan came back looking pretty upset, and he said, "Mom," he said, "you know, those kids are calling Dad names." And Barb said, "Well," he said, "you know, Brendan, this is kind of a tough business we're in. Sometimes that's going to happen." And Brendan kind of gulped, and finally, when everybody else had left and And it was kind of quiet. And he said, "Mom," he said, "what's a liberal?" Well, I don't know if that's an apt description or not, but it isn't quite the swear word that Brendan thought it was at the time.